everybody, welcome back to my blog. I'm so grateful to have you guys here, and I'm so grateful for all of you who've been engaging with my blog and sharing it and talking to me and sharing your advice and your experiences with me through this whole process. It's making it all worthwhile, and I'm glad I'm able to be useful. So the topic for this blog is accountability, and I know too many writers, including myself, who have a hard time staying on track, making sure we're writing every day, and making sure we are staying accountable to ourselves. It's not always easy to get yourself to write every single day, let's be honest. So in this blog, I'm gonna go through a short list of ways in which I help myself stay accountable to myself, and then a few lists in which you can force yourself to be accountable to others if being accountable to yourself is not working out, is too difficult. One way in which I stay accountable to myself and make sure I write every single day is investing in materials. So I'm not saying splurge and go all out. Luckily, writing is not a very expensive art form. All you need are some notebooks, pens. They don't have to be expensive notebooks. Buy yourself some nice pens that you enjoy the feel of when you're writing. And then of course, invest in books that make you want to write. They could be, books about how to write. They could be just inspirational books about life. They could be your favorite memoir. So these are some materials that I think it's important to invest in to get yourself excited about writing. Keep these notebooks and pens everywhere. And take them with you everywhere you go. Keep them all over the house. So I keep this notebook next to my bed at all times. Okay, so this is, when you can't sleep at night and you have these ideas popping into your head, you need to write something down real quick. Or you wake up first thing in the morning and you have, crazy ideas in your head. You want to write them down too. Then I have these smaller ones, like this one, which was actually given to me by my humor writing professor. It's really cute. Thank you, Professor Solomon. This one is a great one to carry around with you, so you can put this in your purse, in your back pocket. I have notebooks. I have colorful notebooks. I like color. It makes me want to go in there and write. Like who doesn't want to write in this? I mean, look at all these colors. I have all these stickers. Shout out to DTM. This was a beautiful looking book that I bought to start working on my thesis because it made me want to write. And then I have these pens. I mean, you don't have to go expensive. You can get, like, this one is a Pilot G207. This is one of my favorites. You can get this at Walmart. This one is called Le Pen. It has a thicker tip. It's very soft. I love writing with it. These are my favorites. This one kind of broke, as you can see, but this is the Papermate Ink Joy Gel 0.7, and I absolutely love these. I love these colors. They make me want to write. Like I said, it doesn't have to be expensive, but get something that makes you enjoy the process of writing. Another way I make myself write every single day is I have this habit of what I call writing morning pages. I have a clipboard next to my bed with just a stack of computer paper on it, no lines, nothing, just plain computer paper. And every morning when I wake up, the first thing I do is write. So my goal is to write at least one page every morning, and sometimes on a good morning I'll write 2 to 3 pages, but I usually don't go beyond that. I usually spend about 15 minutes just writing one page. So these morning pages serve several purposes. 1, they get me writing every single morning. 2, they help me start the day with a clear head because I get everything that I have in my head down on paper every morning. So when I start my day, I have a fresh mind. It's also a form of journaling. You write down everything that happened the day before. You write down any dreams you had. And so this helps give you fodder for your memoir, for your fiction writing. You might have some crazy dreams that you write down that might inspire you to write more. So they serve several purposes. It is a habit that you have to get into, but if you start small and be like, okay, I'm gonna write just half a page, just 5 minutes of writing every morning, and then it'll, expand it to a full page. So start small, Start easy, but it's a really great habit. And I think journaling is always great, especially if you write memoir, because then you have something to go back to and refer to, because we can't always remember everything. It's important to also set goals, your writing goals, your career goals, and break those goals down into projects that will help you reach those goals. Because when you have goals that are also broken down into specific projects, you're more clear about what you need to do, and it's not as scary to make yourself do it, right? One of the biggest reasons for procrastination is fear. We don't know where to start. We don't know if it's going to be even worth it. We're scared. When you have specific goals, specific projects to work on, then you're focused on that project. You're not focused on the fear. You're not focused on, am I going to be great or not? You're like, look, I have this project. I have to get it done. Then go one step further and expand on those goals and projects by setting strict deadlines. Like, okay, I want to have this manuscript ready by spring of 2018. And this is how much I have done so far. This is how much I need to do, which means, I had to calculate all of this. For example, I have to defend my thesis in the spring. So I had to make sure, I'm like, okay, this is how many essays I have that I can use, and this is how many I need to do. So, okay, I need to break it down into per week. Okay, I need to write one essay a week until, the end of January. And then from February to April, I need to work on editing and cleaning everything up. You have to set these deadlines for yourself in order to make sure you get this project done, right? You have to have monthly goals, you have to have weekly goals, you have to have daily goals, like I need to write this many hours a day, or I need to get out this many words per week, I need to have this many pages done in a month. You have to really break down those goals, turn them into deadlines. And that way you're so focused on reaching the deadline for every single day, every single week, every single month that you don't get lost, caught up in fear and procrastinate. Now, I'm sure a lot of you already know all these things that I've just said about how to be accountable to yourself, setting goals, setting deadlines, and all these things. I'm sure many of you have either heard of it already or are already doing it. But let's be honest, it's just not that easy to stay accountable when the only person you're accountable to is yourself. I have a list of a few things that I do to not just stay accountable to myself, but to also make myself accountable to others so that I don't disappoint them, because we're a lot better at staying accountable to other people we don't want to disappoint than we are staying accountable to ourselves. We don't mind disappointing ourselves, apparently. One of the ways that you can stay accountable is to get an accountability partner. Now, this can be a friend, a significant other, a colleague, a mentor, whoever it is. It has to be someone who will hold you accountable to the deadlines you set, to the goals that you set. They're gonna hold you accountable. They're gonna check on you. Like, did you write for 5 hours today? Did you get your essay done this week? Did you put that blog post up? Is it ready to go? You need someone who will keep you accountable, and you could do the same for them. You guys can be each other's accountability partners. And this works for everything in life. It's not just for writing. For example, my accountability partner is my husband. He's a professional artist, so I check on him like, hey, did you work on that blog post for this week yet? And he'll check on me like, hey, did you get your essays done for this week yet? So we keep each other accountable, keep each other on our toes. Another way to make yourself accountable to other people is to either join or create a critique group. Because when you have a critique group and you want others to critique your work, not only does it help your writing, but also you have deadlines, because you have to turn in your work to them at a decent time so they have time to read it and look over it and create a critique for you to share with you, right? Whether you meet them in person or it's just online, however you guys communicate, you have to give your critique group members enough time to read your stuff and write a critique. So that gives you a deadline. Like, let's say your critique group is meeting every Monday. Like my critique group, we have a deadline for every 2 weeks, every Monday, we have to turn our stuff into each other. Now, do we always make it? We're working on that, again, working on the accountability, but it puts pressure on us, right? It's like, okay, Monday, January 22nd is the next deadline for the critique group, so I gotta make sure I have all my stuff in there so the people in my group have the time to read and give me a solid critique. That helps me stay accountable too. You know, it helps all of us stay accountable. And if you do miss the deadline, you feel bad because it's not just yourself that you've let down. You're accountable to other people too. So this next way that helps me stay accountable to other people, but it's not the easiest way to go. I don't recommend this unless you know that you can really stick to it, is to start a blog post or a social media strategy, because in that case the results are obvious. Let's say you're a photographer and you're gonna post a picture every single day, right? That's how you build up your following, by posting a picture on Instagram every single day. Now let's say life happens and you get busy and you miss a couple days. Now your followers are following you because they're looking for a new photo every single day. So when you miss a couple of days, they're gonna be disappointed, right? And then you come back, you make up for it, you're like, okay, back on track. And then life happens again. And this time you miss like a week. Guess what's gonna happen in that week? You're gonna lose a lot of followers because people are expecting you to post that image every single day on your Instagram. If it's not there, you're gonna lose followers. So for example, I have a blog post that comes out every single Wednesday. This one right here that you're watching. Every time I post a blog post, you know, all of you guys, you know, are engaging with me and sharing and this and that. I even, you know, share this on Instagram, and every time I share it, I get new followers. Now, what happens if I slack off? You know, if I don't post it every Wednesday, there are gonna be people who are gonna be expecting this blog post every Wednesday that are gonna be disappointed. So first they're gonna be disappointed, and then slowly they're gonna start unfollowing me. When you start a blog post or a social media strategy, you are accountable to your audience. And if you don't deliver when they expect you to deliver, then they're gonna stop following you. You're gonna lose followers because there is a graveyard out there on the internet that has thousands, maybe millions of blog posts that have been abandoned by their creators. It's really sad. So I wouldn't suggest this strategy unless you are really determined to build up your online presence, build up your followers, or just have something really important that you know you will be able to consistently share when you say you're gonna share, whether it's once a month, once a week, every day. Now, for those of you who are freelance writers, you have clients and they need things by certain deadlines. So you already have those deadlines. You're already responsible to someone else. And in this case, it's very straightforward. If you don't meet those deadlines, you lose money, right? So that's one way that I stay accountable with my writing, is if I have a freelance project, you know, my clients are setting deadlines, I have to make sure I meet that deadline or I lose my money. So that's a pretty straightforward way to keep yourself accountable to other people and make sure you're writing, is by getting more freelance gigs. Hey, the money doesn't hurt. The last and final method that I use that helps me is sign up for a writer's conference or a workshop. Because when you sign up for those events, you get an opportunity to turn in your work to submit. For example, I'll be attending the Atlanta Writers Conference in May, and they have manuscript critiques that you can get, you know, from professional agents and stuff. So for that, they have a deadline, you know, that you have to make sure you turn in your manuscript. They give you exact, you know, how many pages and what they need, all that stuff. You have to turn it in by a certain date so that the agents have a time to read through your manuscript and give you a good critique. So that's a deadline. Now, I paid for that, so I'm gonna make sure I stick to that deadline, or else this money is gonna go to waste, you know. So this is a method that requires money. Sometimes you can get, if you're a student, you can get sponsored by your school to go to them for free. You could get grants or scholarships and stuff too, to go to these workshops or conferences for free. So it's not always your money involved, you know, sometimes you can get other people to sponsor you. But either way, you know, they give you a deadline, and if you want that critique, you gotta have it in. Again, now you're responsible and accountable to somebody else, so you will make sure you get that done. So ideally, I think you need a combination of both. because in the long run, I think it makes us better writers to be, or just better people in general, to be able to hold ourselves accountable. When you're starting out, or if you, like me, have a hard time staying accountable to yourself, do a combination of both. I do a combination of both, and I think that really helps me stay on track. So thank you guys for watching. I hope this was helpful to you. I'm sure you guys have your own tricks and methods that you use to stay accountable to yourself. Or to others, just to stay on track. Make sure you write every single day. So please feel free to share your methods and techniques with me, because I'm always looking to get better at this. Feel free to share your insights with me. If you've been doing this for a while, I would really like to know how you have stayed on track and achieved your goals and stayed accountable. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.